Hey guys, me again, Ryan JC. And in the last video that I had uploaded on my YouTube channel, I talked about an experience where I entered someone else's dreams through an astral projection state. I may tell you guys how to do that later on within this video, but what I want to be talking about right now is conversational hypnosis. Okay? Now, hypnosis is the ability to make anybody do what it is that you want, right? You've seen it on TV with Darren Brown and other magicians that put people into a trance-like state. But conversational hypnosis is different. It's indirect. They won't see it coming. You all do this anyway, okay? You all conversate. You all have conversations where you're shifting each other's awareness all the time in order to bring about a certain amount of emotion within a person's body, excitement, or worry. You tell them not to do something just in case this may happen. Or you tell them to do it because this will happen and that causes them to be excited. Sometimes, depending on what it is that you're telling them. So all conversational hypnosis is you're predicting how they're going to behave and you're using your grammar. Grammar, the word grammar stemming from the Latin word grimoire, which means book of spells, in order to shift their awareness consciously in order to get information out of said person, or in order for you to make them do what it is that you want. Now, you can actually deliberately, if you're aware enough, to have discovered the reasons as to why somebody dreams of someone in the first place, trigger a response within the person that you're speaking to, in order for them to then start dreaming of you within the upcoming night if you know what you're doing. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys how to do conversational hypnosis, okay? Now, first off, setting's pretty much key. You're going to increase the chances of getting someone to dream of you if you do it in the correct settings. First thing I'm thinking about is a bedroom. Obviously, they're going to be spending most of their time there. But, for example, imagine this for a scenario. If it's later on within the day or within the evening, the sun's going down, and you're inside of a car, in the passenger seat next to your friend. Okay? The first thing you want to do is an opener. And you want to make it all about you focused. And you do that by saying the words I, me, and my. Okay? When you do this, it leaves them open to suggestion. Because you're making it about you, and they're going to be, curious. They're going to start looking at you, okay, what's he got to offer? I want to hear what he's got to say. Otherwise, if you don't say the me, my, and the I type openers, then what happens is you have to make it about them. And sometimes if you make things about other people, they don't like that. Then they get defensive. So you leave them open because you're making it all about you. You focus, the I, me, and the my, which is great. So you turn to your left and you pull down the blind and you look into the mirror and you look into your eyes and you see how they're dark and they're grey. And you slightly turn to the right and you say to your friend, I feel terrible. I didn't get any sleep last night. I was having nightmares all throughout the hours of the night. I even woke up in a sweat. I had to check myself, pat myself down just in case I peed my bed, right? Your friend could say any number of these things. Yeah, I get that sometimes. I feel damp and I start to get worried because I too often think that I have just pissed my bed. Or he could then start bouncing off of what you've just said and start getting into a nightmare that he had previously had within his days, weeks, months, or even years, just to relate to what it was that you had just said, which is perfect, because you've just used words which will allow them to relate to you. These relatable words are special words. They really, really will bring them into the conversation, and it will give you a certain amount of control when it comes to you steering the conversation. And those relatable words were nightmare, sleep, sweating, couldn't even, that could segue, couldn't even sleep, my eyes look terrible. You can use little sentences like that, observational awareness points, in order for them to relate off of what it is that you're saying. And again, this will leave them open to then start to think and come up with other relatable experiences within their past. So what have you done here? You've given them the illusion of them thinking that they are thinking up this information simply as of a result of their free will, when really you literally just consciously shifted their awareness for them in order for you to receive the information that you wanted. Conversational hypnosis at its finest. What else have you done? Well, you've brought them into a theta level of thinking. When you bring them into a theta level of thinking, what happens is that theta level of thinking will literally exist within the now moment. Meaning, because you're remembering a memory that can only be recalled once you enter theta, you literally induce that person's consciousness into a theta type level of thinking in order to allow them to access their memories of their dreams. Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. Now for the cool bit. You tap them on the shoulder and you change the direction of the conversation. Okay? When you tap them on the shoulder, it'll bring them out slightly. Not all the way, just slightly. Now again, they have no idea this is happening, so don't tell them beforehand. The reason why we break them out slightly is so that they can go into the trance-like state for the second time. Every time you do something twice, when you go in for the second time, you go in a lot deeper. Now what you want to do is you want to use what it is that you have just learned off this person by listening to their dreams to your advantage. Say for example, they talked about a nightmare where they were stuck within a castle. And in this castle it was full of zombies because they had just previously gone to sleep after watching The Walking Dead. Now you can do two things here. If you've got an experience with that person where you've been to, say for example, Windsor Castle, then you can bring up that experience and you can start going down that route. Or you can start bringing them into a daydream. You can start fantasizing about how you should go out with that person and a few other people in order to experience Windsor Castle or any other landmark where there's already a castle that exists. This will allow them to then start going into a daydream, and because you've just taken them from theta into a memory, you've now laid down the foundation to exist within their theta state of mind. It really is that simple. You've just gone from a theta state from where they've been remembering their dream states to then taking them into a memory. And it's because they've come from that theta that they're going to be dragging that energy into that memory recall where you've already existed, which is perfect. Now you can bring up this conversation in any way that you want. The smartest way would be to already trigger memories that they already have. So you say, hey, remember that time that me and Scott and Sam went to Scotland, right? This castle's in Scotland. Don't say this castle's in Scotland. Just say, remember that time that me, Scott and Sam and you went to Scotland? Right? We should do something like that again. You didn't even bring up castle. That's enough. Because if you went to Scotland with Sam and Scott and him, and you had some sort of experience that you know of where you've been around castles, that's automatically going to create that subconscious link to that memory of your experience to their nightmare of their experience with that castle and the zombies. Perfect. Okay? Now you can have a conversation about you fantasizing about future holidays, and you can pick your landmarks however which way you want. It's fine. Next is the trigger. You want to use trigger words for this next part. Okay? What you do is you wait till later on in the day when you know that they're going to be sleeping or they're going to be getting ready for bed, and you text them. You say, okay, I'm going to look up some flights to this country. I'm going to look up how to get to this country and the prices for the hotels to, carry out our plan. And what this will do is this will automatically bring their attention to that moment where you had that experience within the car, where you were talking about your experiences, right? Where you were talking about your nightmares and the castle and so forth. Perfect. Now what's going to happen is the best bit. They're going to go to sleep. And because whilst you're on the phone, and by the way, text them. People tend to imagine more things when you text them. If you speak over the phone, they tend to focus on your voice and the decibels in your voice subconsciously. They don't really start to imagine much. That would be ideal. So text them instead before they go to bed. Now you can go the indirect route, which that was, or you can go the direct route at this point of time in this development stage when it comes to you trying to get them to dream of you. And the direct route would be, whilst you're texting, you could say, hey, try not to have any nightmares tonight, LOL. That's completely direct and it will still work. Now what's going to happen is they're going to go to sleep and they're going to dream of you because of all that stuff that you had just done during the day. Bingo. And then the next morning they'll text you about some sort of dream that they had had the night before. So thumbs up. Now, if you want a complete stranger to start dreaming about you, it's kind of the same deal, but you want to do it in the environments that you're always in. Say, for example, you've just met a girl in the gym and you want to strengthen that connection, right? you're at the gym. You have no previous experience with her. That's okay, because she's got experiences when she's been in the gym within the past. So all you do is you use an opener that has something to do with the gym. Very simple. Don't even try to make it obvious that you're trying to get her, really, right? But then what you do is you set up a date. But you don't say, hey, I want to take you out on a date. That's ridiculous. You want to do an indirect date, and you don't want to make a big deal out of it. So you could say, okay, well, I got to go now, make it swift, then leave. And as you're leaving, say, I'll see you like whenever you're next here. What you've done is you're not making it too much about them, and you're technically making an indirect date, so it's fine. Now, the next time you're there, you have a reason to actually talk to them because you've talked to them already. And then you can start saying how you're tired because you've been up all night and you've got to work out to finish these sets, right? Bingo. Now you can talk about your dreams. Whilst they're cooling down, you don't want to interfere with their workout session, right? And all you've got to do is you talk about your dreams. They can relate. They talk about their dreams. They go into theta, right? And then you change the conversation. Tap them, touch them, flick them, kick them by accident. Don't kick them really hard, but like, nudge them, turn around and accidentally touch them with your elbow. Anything like that to put them into the second state of awareness. Now, obviously, it may be a bit harder because you haven't got much memory with that person besides that one memory where you first met with them. You can use that to start a conversation. You can say, hey, during that day I bumped into so forth and so forth, or during that day I came back to the gym and this was missing, or that bench press was so sweaty that we was on because somebody else had used it and they stink. You can just go nuts, right? And stink and sweat, that's enough for them to start thinking about their own independent memories of times where they have come across the same similar situations. Perfect. And then you just put yourself in their future by suggesting that you'll probably meet them again next week. Done. It's not creepy. It's not too forward. It's perfect. Or you can get really specific and you say, hey, you should come down at night sometimes because there's less people here. Then they'll be like, oh, that's actually a good idea. You can say, hey, I won't be here, but at least more of the equipment will be free. And that's perfect, because now you've used their memory of nighttime, and you've just taken them out of theta from when they've been remembering their dreams, which happen at night. And there's the whole interaction of you being in the gym with them, and that's enough, because you've used that one memory of the first time you bumped into them, and you've used your opener. You've talked about maybe new equipment being added within the gym. And yeah. Pretty much it. They're going to go to sleep and dream about you, most likely in the gym with them. It's most likely going to happen the following night too. So that's how you do it with conversational hypnosis. Now, how do you do it with astral projection? Well, first off, you need to be good at astral projecting. So I've got an astral projection 4-step system over on my YouTube channel. It's 4 steps to astral project. It's quite simple. It's off of what I used to do when I first started astral projecting when I was 16. I'm 22 now. But I have been doing it for a very long time, my entire life. Those of you who have regularly started watching my YouTube channel know this about me. So, if you can astral project already, this is for you. If not, I hope that what you've got out of this video actually helps, and good luck. So, you've astral projected. What you want to do is you want to think about them. And just by thinking about them, you'll pick up on their aura, that feeling you feel around people when you're around them. Sometimes when you're not even looking and they enter a room, you just know who it is because you can feel their essence, their auric field. Not see, but feel their auric field. So once you feel the auric field, that's great whilst you're in the astral realm. What will then happen is you'll start to lose all sense of direction. You won't completely fall unconscious, but you'll find yourself materializing, or you'll find yourself witnessing the scenery showing itself to you, and that scenery will be of their dreams. And then you'll find yourself literally showing up in their dream, and it's really that straightforward. The difficulty in this practice is the ability to stay in the astral realms for a long enough duration of time, just so you can find yourself in their domain, in their subconscious mind, in that place that they actually think is real, their dream state. And by the way, guys, they're going to be unconscious in their dreams. So don't bet that they're going to be able to wake up out of their dream and remember you being in it. They most likely can't even remember their dreams, because let's face it, everyone else has so many, I guess, more important things to do when they wake up. So that's the first thing the mind's going to go to when they wake up, and that's going to prevent them from even remembering their dreams in the first place. So I'm Ryan JC. This has been how to enter someone's dreams and how to make someone else dream of you through conversational hypnosis. Subscribe for more information like this, and I'll speak to you guys pretty soon. So by the way, I know a lot of you may be thinking that this is against the other person's free will. right? But let's be honest, if you've already made the intention to make someone else dream of you, then free will's kind of out of the window. But look at it this way. You're taking what's unconscious and you're making it conscious. And if that isn't enough for you to feel comfortable with doing this, then just realize that this is happening all of the time, and that's why so many people are dreaming so many wacky experiences all of the time. It's because they don't have control as to what it is that's coming into their subconscious mind, because they're not aware enough to notice when they're being influenced. And that is happening more times than you think. If anything, it's kind of a benefit that you're consciously doing it, because then you can steer the direction of their dreams to a positive dream rather than a negative nightmare. Keep that in mind. I'm Ryan JC, and I'll speak to you guys pretty soon.